So how do you read from a teleprompter? Now you're probably thinking, well, hold on a second. I just read it, then I finish filming, and I edit the video and upload it, and that's it. Then nothing more to it. But there's a little bit more to how to read a teleprompter. Before we get into that, what is a teleprompter? A teleprompter is a device that allows you to look directly into the camera while reading your script. So a teleprompter back in the day used to actually be computer operated, where there would be pretty much a computer monitor that would have somebody operating it. So that way, if you spoke a little bit faster, they'd be able to speed it up. And if you spoke a little bit slower, they'd be able to slow it down for you. They'd be able to adjust your reading speed. Now, those teleprompters still exist, but they're more expensive. Then there's more time in setting it up. And also, you're going to have somebody monitor the teleprompter for you and run it. Where with teleprompters like these, the Glide Gear, or there's other ones as well, or you can make your own, use just a cell phone or a tablet that you can put on there with the teleprompter app, play it. But we have to think there's certain ways we want to present the teleprompter, because if we just read it like we're reading, it doesn't really work really well. Think of it as when you're in high school and your teacher picks and you go, hey, read a paragraph from this book. You're not reading it with energy and excitement and from the character and adding inflections. You're reading it straight because you don't want to mess anything up. You don't want to mispronounce anything and be known as the kid in class that's going to pronounce water. But when we're reading a teleprompter, we don't want to appear that way because it's boring to the viewer. So we want to make it exciting. Think of it as you're reading a book not for your high school classmates, but for a child. You want to make it more exciting for them. Add in inflections. Think of it also as a roller coaster. If you take a roller coaster and it's just a flat line, it's super boring. But if you add some bumps and bips here and there, it's like, all right, this is kind of cool. This is interesting. It's fun. That's what it's like with reading a teleprompter. Now, another thing we want to focus on is we want to avoid the look of reading. What does that mean? Well, when we're reading, our eyes go left to right. And that's what we're going to see in our footage as well, going left to right, reading our teleprompter. And we don't want to give the appearance that we're reading. So something we can do is either use a smaller teleprompter, and when I say that, like a phone, because it's a smaller profile. So even though it may be harder to see, or you have to read a little bit faster, it's going to be more in front of the lens, so that way it's not going to showcase a lot further off the camera, just like a tablet would. But something else we can do is we can step further away from the camera. The further we are, the less of the eye left looking right, back and forth, that we'll see. I said that really weird and jumbled it up, but I think you got the point because you guys get it. You're smart. Go you. But by being further away and being able to zoom in, you're going to minimize that left and right eye movement. Now, something else is, a lot of times when we write out scripts, we're writing like we write. We don't write like we speak. And when you then read it off a teleprompter, it's harder sometimes to read out loud. It's easy to read in your mind. But then when you hit words that sometimes don't make sense or this or that, and you make a mistake, it can come across more that you're struggling reading. So if you get across points like that, then just adjust the script or adjust the script to a point of how you'd speak opposed to how you would read. Now, one of the biggest things to help you make you not look like you're reading a teleprompter is being able to look around, move around, pick things up, look at things, adjust things. Hey, look at this cell phone. This phone's cool. But when we do this and we have a teleprompter, a lot of times we're scared because we're looking off screen. Now we're like, oh God, what if I come back? And what if the words are gone and I don't know where I am anymore? And now you're all jumbled and you get nervous and sweaty, and you then have to go back and redo it, and you're stressed out. But there's no need to worry about that. If you make a mistake, you make a mistake. But also, it helps make it feel more natural. And it is a little bit of a challenge. But something I like to do when I'm incorporating a teleprompter is I like to slow it down a little bit. Now, the teleprompter app I have, I can either slow things up or speed things up. I like to slow it down so that way I have that time to articulate those certain words, emphasize certain words, as well as be able to add in regular pauses. Or if I wanted to improvise something and make a funny little joke, because humor is what I do sometimes. That wasn't funny, but you get the idea. it's good to sometimes be able to add those things in because it feels a lot more natural to the viewer yourself than when you're watching. Think, oh, this feels like a real conversation. It doesn't feel like you just wrote this and is reading it to me. It looks like he's talking to me. So hopefully that helps give you a better idea on how to use the teleprompter more effectively and why it's important to make it seem like you're not reading a teleprompter. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them down below, and we'll see ya next time.